Shemai Bob. Hello everyone, Jason Shepherd here from the Learn Welsh podcast, and my favourite special guest is here with me today again. Actually the only special guest we've had so far, but anyway, you're still my favourite, and that's Jean, or as I call her, Mum. We are in sunny Tenby, which is why we've got white walls and pictures behind us, because we're in a hotel room at the moment. We're spending a couple of days here, and we thought that, as well as I'm making some lovely videos about Tenby, about Saundersfoot, about the harbour in Tenby, the St Catherine's Island, all these things, but I thought we'd also have a look at some lists. I know on this channel everybody likes the lists, and today we've got 19 things all Welsh people remember from their childhoods that we don't see anymore. This is from Wales Online. I'll read a little bit first. So it says, childhood nostalgia is a funny thing. So many of the things we used daily back then have fallen by the wayside. We reminisce about them now with our rose-tinted glasses on full beam. Our reliance on technology was growing rapidly, but still, like it moved at a snail's pace compared to what we're living through now. Without our iPads and iPhones and Netflix Discovery, Disney Plus, all those things, we were still ahead of the curve when it came to making our own fun, especially during the summer holidays. We went out and made things happen, from bike ramps to climbing up and down quarries, and how could we forget the outdoor swimming pools that were some of the best places to spend with our friends. So, the first one on the list, I don't know if you remember this, is Corona Pop.
Yes.
It says, who can remember the excitement or forget the excitement of the Corona Pop man?
Oh, fabulous.
And his trusty van pulling up on your street. And, oh yeah, I remember this. When you give the bottles back to be recycled, you get money.
You do? You did? Rather?
How much was it back in your day?
Oh, it's a few, I don't know, it was a penny or 2 pence. It wasn't a lot.
It says 10 pence here, but I mean, the Coronas were going for years, weren't they?
Is that the new money, is it?
I assume so.
It's a p.
It's a p,
Yeah, yes. No, it wasn't a lot. Say 3 pence at the most, 3 pence. 3 old pennies.
Right.
At the most.
So was Corona Pop going when you were a child as well?
Yeah.
Wow, so it spanned right through my childhood as well. Yeah. It says here it was made in and around South Wales, but mainly at the West Hill Works in Porth, now more commonly known as the Pop Factory.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. I used to love the Pop Man coming. It was very exciting, and you'd be able to you choose the pop that you want, the different flavours. I didn't want the raspberry this week. Can we have lemonade instead? And it was always sad when he'd say, oh, sorry, I haven't got that flavour this week. There's nothing you could do about it. No. Because you can't drive off somewhere else. It's what he's got on the van.
Dandelion and burdock was one of my favourites. Love
it. I love Dandelion and burdock. No, what have we got here? Oh, yes. Only having some Channel 4 programmes late at night. And back in the 80s, do you remember back in the 80s? Yeah. We had, in England they had Channel 4, we had S4C, S4C, and most of the programmes in the main sort of evening were Welsh. Yeah. And then all the Channel 4 programmes that were on 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Channel 4, we had them 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night. So people got really angry sometimes that they didn't get the programme they wanted. Until later. Now, of course, there's 2 separate channels. There's Channel 4 and there's S4C. Yeah. Do you remember those days?
Yes, I do, because you felt cheated a bit, didn't you? Because, you know, why do other people have it and Wales doesn't, isn't it?
It's as simple as making 2 separate channels, really. Yeah. Oh, this is a popular one. I remember this. Buying your CDs in Woolworths.
Oh, I loved Woolworths. Loved Woolworths.
Do you remember? Oh.
You want to say it wasn't only CDs we bought, though, was it? They had everything. I know we looked at it.
They had everything. They had stationery, books, music, pick and mix.
I was going to say pick and mix. I was just going to say.
Children my age used to love that. You pick a few sweets, and you think you'd only got a couple, and they say, oh, £half, and that's way more money than you got, and you could never measure them yourself to check how much was in them. Back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, you used to be able to get songs of the day on a record, so popular songs, sung by, not the real artist, and they were much cheaper. So you get like 4 songs per record instead of 1. That's what they were very popular for doing. Yeah. Right. A lot of children and younger people wouldn't know about this. The corded rotary phone and phone books.
Yeah.
I'll put a picture up so you can see this if you've never seen one. But you've got those numbers on the dial, and well, you tell me what they have to do.
Well, you had to put your finger in the appropriate hole, which was 0 to 9, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then take the dial right the way round and leave it go.
That was your first
And then-
number.
Yes, and then whatever numbers, and just carry on for all the numbers that you needed.
And it seemed so normal to us.
That's it.
I got to say, I was very excited when we had a touch phone, though.
It's a difference, isn't it?
So much easier.
You didn't know any different. I mean, it was tedious, but you know, it was just one of those things, wasn't
And
it?
the whole thing about corded phones as well. How many people use corded phones these days?
Not, no. And there's curly
Oh yeah, it was a curly cord.
cord.
But nowadays it's all either mobile phones or they're wireless. You
Yeah.
just pick them up, walk around the house.
Yes.
We couldn't do that.
No.
We had to start the conversation somewhere, and if we said, "Oh, I need to go and get something," we couldn't take the phone with
Sit
us.
down. Box it off.
It'll only be 5 minutes. Phone goes down. You're waiting the other end, going, "Oh, come on!"
No, we moved on a lot from there, haven't we? But you know,
And phone books, it says here.
phone books, yes. They used to deliver them, didn't they, to all the houses?
You got two, I believe. There's a normal phone book,
Yeah.
and then with people's people who lived, you know, people's names where they lived and their phone numbers.
Yes.
And then you had Yellow Pages,
Yes.
which was all the businesses, and you could never find what you wanted.
No. It was, yeah, it took a long time, isn't it? Not like now when you've got the internet and you can just
Yeah.
go in.
You just
It's
say, "Oh, I want a plumber." Oh,
Yeah.
there he is.
You should
And
turn
off
the
you go.
pages over and yeah. Yes, I remember that.
Now this one says the big gigs at the National Stadium. Before the world-class Principality Stadium, there was a National Stadium, this is in Cardiff,
Yes.
where the likes of Michael Jackson and R.E.M. rocked it in the 90s. Never been to the National Stadium, I
No.
don't think.
No, I don't think so. Been to, no, not the National.
Went to the Motor Point,
Yes, we've been to Motorpoint, yeah.
saw a few people there. I remember you went to see John Denver.
Yes,
I went with you.
you did.
It was a lovely concert, and about 6 months later, you know, he had the airplane accident and died. So that was your one. I mean, we both love him, but you got me into him. You were a big fan at the time.
Oh,
I
yes,
wasn't at
yeah.
the time.
Yes,
That's when I got into him.
yes, fantastic.
And it was that one chance to see
He
him.
was all on his own, wasn't he? With about 10 guitars.
Yeah. He basically just had a couple of backing tracks for one or two songs, but mainly.
Picked up different guitars for
Yeah,
different songs. didn't
basically. Oh, do you remember this? School desks that looked like this. And the thing is, they were desks from the 20s and 30s, but you had them.
he? Yes.
Yeah. I had them in the 80s, so that's, you know, a couple of decades later.
Yes, they lasted a long time, didn't
Yeah, and they were awful. People would take pens and scrape into them, and
Yes.
they'd sort of graffiti them.
they? Some of them were single ones, and then some were double.
Yeah.
You shared with another student.
And I said 20s, but it says here, these desks look like they date from the turn of the century, 20th century, but a full 100 years later they were still in rows in schools
Yes.
up and down the country.
Yes, absolutely.
The worst ones for me were the ones where, so the desk would sort of curl around you.
Oh, right.
You
Yes.
sort of sit in between. So you, the chair and the desk were attached. So that arm was attached to the chair. And I'll put a photo up. Problem is, I'm left-handed and they'd be right-handed, so I'd be trying to write like this. Awful.
Awkward, isn't it? Yes, they didn't cater for left-handed
No.
students to the kids.
Next one is bombing it around the bowl at the Swansea Leisure Centre. Now, I don't remember the bowl so much. It's 90s, it says here, but I do remember these big slides.
Yeah, the shoot, yes, slides, yes. Yes.
Sort of encased in sort of fiberglass, like a tube. And I never went on it because everybody was saying, oh, people have put razor blades inside and people have got cut. We never knew if that was true, but there was always that fear. So didn't go on that slide. Did go on the open slides and, you know, swim around.
Yes, enclosed ones.
Yeah. What we got next? Playground slides. Playground slides that burn you in the heat.
Oh, yes. Those metal ones, isn't it?
They were these massive metal slides.
Yes.
And if it was summer, it would burn.
I've had a few of those. Burns.
Yeah, you'd slide down it. The friction would burn you, first of all.
And if the
And
sun
then-
was on them as well, isn't it?
You'd have red patches on your
Yes,
arm.
yes.
Do you remember as well, nowadays kids have these, like, have chip-ins on the playground, or they have a special tarmac that bounces. Do you remember what we had? Because I think you probably had the
It
same.
was earth, wasn't it? And,
We didn't.
gravel and earth.
No, we had cement.
Oh, cement.
So you climb up these big, high climbing frames.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which felt high to us. Maybe it was probably only 6 foot, but it felt very high when you were a little child. And down below was cement. As if you fell straight on the cement.
And now you're saying, but I couldn't picture it for a minute. And,
Crazy.
yeah.
Right. Cwtch glow. Or glow. What's that?
It's a coal house, isn't it? It's a coal...
Yeah, coal shed.
Coal shed.
It says here the coal was kept in the coal shed out the back. You know that?
Yes, I was at the back. It was in like it looked like a building, like a toilet outside, but the coal would go in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And
anything like that.
some houses might have had them indoors as well, but I was outside.
I remember
When I was growing up.
I remember Mam Gee and Grandpa having my grandparents having outdoor toilet.
Yes.
And that at one time they only had outdoor toilets, didn't they? No indoors. That must have been horrible.
Just with the light on.
Oh, I used to love this place.
Oh, yes.
Penscynor car sticker, it says here. Visit the World of Wildlife, Penscynor Wildlife Park, Kilfrew near Neath. I used to love Penscynor.
Yes, it was really good. So the animals, there's quite a variety of animals there.
There were, but that's closed years ago now.
It has closed.
It's
I
really
remember
sad.
you could climb up to it, didn't you? Wasn't it up a hill or something?
I think it might have been.
Yes.
I was young when it closed, but I remember going there.
Yes. No, it was lovely. Very popular. I don't know why it's closed.
Now this is similar to the Corona, isn't it?
Yes.
Tovally Pop. Or is it Tovali?
Valley, I would say anyway.
I don't. I think I remember that. Corona, the Corona man. I remember the Corona Pop man. Right, number 12. Jeffin Jenkins, Welsh language children's presenter based on a teddy boy. You see, I don't remember him because I didn't really watch a lot of Welsh children's programs. I wasn't brought up in Welsh. I learned it later. So there's things like that I missed. But I do recognise the man on the left.
Yes, I do too.
Hugh Caredig, who was in Twin Town. Fatty Lewis in Twin Town.
Yeah, he's quite a famous Welsh actor at the time, wasn't he?
He was. Did so many different roles. But he's now forever remembered for Twin Town because that film is so popular, especially in Wales.
I know.
Now this man I do remember.
I saw him in the flesh. If you know, excuse the expression.
Yeah.
You know, there was the Eisteddfod came to Gowden or somewhere, came near us to in our area.
He was there?
He was there, and Auntie Mair, our aunt, was with me, and she wanted to go up to speak to him, and she was practising what she'd say if he came to interview her, but he never did.
He didn't.
No, she was very disappointed.
He Arfon Haynes
Davis.
Davis. He was a presenter, and ITV back in the days, or HTV, as it was then, Harlech, Cymru Wales?
Yes.
Or Harlech Television.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, it was only ITV that had people in camera, sort of in between the programmes, telling you what was coming on next. BBC was just a voiceover. So it was very exciting because you get to know these people, get to know their faces. So when I see this photo now, it makes me smile. It's nostalgic. It takes me back to the 80s.
And he's a lovely face, you know what I mean? He was...
But you get to know all the different presenters. I can't remember names now, but there were so many of them.
I remember his, because I don't know, Arfon Haynes.
He was the most popular.
Very Welsh as well.
Next one, I do remember this. It was in Welsh and English. Will Quack Quack. I was...
Some more your era, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was a little bit older for it, so it wasn't really... I wasn't young enough to really watch it, but I did see, turn the TV on and it was there kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh, right. Above ground roundabouts. Staying at the local park, it says here, one of the best rides was a big metal roundabout that would have the older kids pushing those brave enough to get on faster and faster until they could take it no more. The next move would be to stop as fast as quickly as possible to disorientate the rider and watch them stumble off as they battled against the G-force and motion sickness, with the aim of seeing them fall over giddy. Yeah, if you saw a load of kids on there, big boys, you wouldn't go near it.
No.
And these things were all made out of metal, And if you fell off it, you fell straight onto the
Oh,
concrete.
they were dangerous. And they
But
were
we didn't care.
really fast.
We thought it was fun.
And very dizzyfying, if it's such a word, you know. Oh,
Well, there is
made
now,
you dizzy.
if there isn't.
Made it
The
up.
playground rocking horse. I
Yeah.
remember those, but the ones I remember didn't look like that. They were a bit sleeker, a bit thinner. The rocking horse was another playground ride that would take the strongest of stomachs and backsides to get the best out of it. Especially if you had the older kids pushing it to see if they'd be able to make you go fast and high as possible. All this without falling off meant one thing: you had skill, it says. Do you remember them?
I do remember them. Not exactly like that,
No.
but yes, same idea. They were more rounded, weren't they? And
Yes,
they had
they look more like a horse shape.
handles, sort of.
They did have a handle on the top, the
Yes,
ones that we used
yes,
to.
that's right. Yeah, you just held
Now,
on.
they're just talking now, but the next one's what we've been talking about. Concrete floored playgrounds. It says, if the above had you wincing at all, remember this was before the time of soft playground flooring chip-ins. We did all of the above on concrete floors, and that was the best part of it all. The aim would be to do the rides with a cut or a scratch, although when you did fall and cut grades yourself, you learned that pain comes with determination to get better at it and not fall again.
Yes, it was. I suppose it was exciting, wasn't it? You know, you could fall or whatever. But
I just remember being a young boy and climbing up this frame with these rounded ones, like a half circle, looking down and being petrified and just being stuck up there for a bit until I got the courage to carry on. I was quite young.
yes,
It was probably not that high, but it felt it when,
it
you,
would
when you're small.
when you're small. Yes.
Right, the next guy here, Martin Geraint, who apparently was a children's entertainer, famed for his singing classics like Un Bis, Dau Bus, Tri Bus and Dansio. On Slot Myrddin, he used to present S4C programmes in the same way Andy Peters did on BBC Broom Cupboard. Now, I don't remember him from that.
No.
But
In
being
his face.
a big Doctor Who fan of the classic
yes.
era, he was in an episode, a Sylvester McCoy episode called Delta and the Bannerman, where they went back to 1950s Wales. And they went to Butlins, and he was one of the Butlins men.
Right.
Or the red
No,
coats.
I know
didn't
his
he?
face, but I couldn't tell you what I saw him in.
Didn't have a
you know.
big role,
No.
but he was in it. I
And
remember
I wouldn't have
from
known
that.
his name, would you? Martin
No.
Geraint.
Next one, I don't remember these. And you might though. Steamed pies in Italian cafes that were dotted around Wales. A steamed pie was a treat like no other, it says here. A visit to one of the Italian cafes meant great food and one of the best frothy coffees ever made. This was before the likes of Costas and Starbucks. Would the coffee house of today stand a chance against the cafes of yesterday? The steamed pie was the cafe's calling card and was steamed using the coffee machine. Oh, okay.
I do sort of remember seeing I think they had them in High Street, you know, Espresso in Swansea. And I don't know if I ever had one. And I'm not sure if Woolworths used to do something like that as well.
I don't remember steamed pies. I do remember the frothy coffee you used to get in the old Italian cafes.
yes.
Now it's all cappuccinos, lattes, which are nice, but they were so milky. And there's like a very special taste to them. It didn't matter which Italian cafe you went to, there was always the same flavour to them as well. Does take you back, doesn't it?
It does.
This list.
Yes. That's, you know, the steam coming out now. It does remind me.
We had a cafe like that two of them in Swansea.
Yeah.
One in Porthcawl when we used to visit Porthcawl. So you'd always see these kind of, and
Yes.
often it was the same family that have sort of branched out to other areas.
And the coffee, you know, you could hear that the same sound. There was a swooshing sound.
Yes,
With
and you see the
quite
steam
loud,
rising out of the
that's
top
right, yes,
of the
yeah.
machine. So there we are. That was an interesting list. Anything particular there that you caught your imagination? Or made you remember? I mean,
well,
playgrounds.
I hadn't yes, playgrounds. Now I can see them. You know, I mean, now up near us where I live, that was a dangerous one, and it had those fast roundabouts, and it had the sort of witch's hat roundabout,
Yeah.
and you know those slides that burned you and stuff. And it was all concrete. I remember it was tarmac. I think that one.
I've got a memory now that we've been reading through
Yeah.
it of being on one of those rides
Yeah.
with friends, and all of a sudden these big boys come
Yes.
and actually literally grab hold of the side and start running.
Yes.
So you go fast and fast and fast.
I
I
know.
remember one time it happened. I managed to jump off just before I went too fast, and you sort of tumble and scrape your arm.
Yes, I know.
Well,
Dangerous.
I hope you've enjoyed this list. I hope those of you that Living Wales is taking you back, giving you to your memories of your childhood, or maybe it's just something that you didn't know about and you're now finding out about for the first time, and maybe it's something that's interesting to you. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, why not subscribe? And if you'd like to see the videos whenever they come out, click the little bell. Thank you so much for all of your support, the way that you're liking the videos, going on to YouTube and writing comments, going on to the other pages like Instagram, Twitter, and messaging me there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And of course, if you want to support us, there are other ways like Patreon and the Learn Welsh Podcast Club, learnwelshpodcast.co.uk, or you can go to patreon.com/learnwelsh. Either way, you get loads and loads of extra learning materials as a thank you for your support. Well, it's time for us to go, and we'll see you soon. I'll see you in a few minutes because we're going for some food.
Yes.
But hang on. No, you're not there. Oh, there you are. I've seen you in a few minutes. There we are. A few seconds. We're going for food very soon, but we're going to say goodbye to you now, and see you soon. Hoil!
Hoil!
Hoil!